don't take it personal.
Rainrose presents Graffiti Love, the diaries of relationships, both true and fictional, that explore the vivid and unfiltered tales of love, and every page opens your heart to a kind of love that exists only from the colorful depths of the soul. Welcome to Graffiti Love Diaries.
Trying to look like you winning, or look like you always be working. Soak in the moments you live in, yeah. You got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, 'cause baby,
He went his way. I went mine, our paths diverging, creating a gap that crossed 1,000 miles. I never saw him again, yet deep within the caverns of my heart and the essence of my soul, I harbored a clandestine hope for his return. For a while, I found myself wishing for him to come back to me, his passion undeniable, his voice breaking through the quiet, urging me to forgive him and try again. And in that moment, I would acquiesce, sealing the promise of our reunion, bridging the distance that time had stretched between us, and bringing us back to a place where everything felt right again. That didn't happen. Instead, I found myself drowning in a sea of tears for him, for me, for us. The weeks of longing and heartache stretched into months, and before I knew it, a year had slipped by. As the first anniversary of our separation dawned, I realized I had unconsciously erected a fortress around my heart, a barrier impenetrable to anyone else's affection. Many tried, in vain, to shatter the chains I'd wrapped so tightly around my emotions, seeking entry into the sanctum I'd reserved solely for Tess. But it was as if my heart refused to budge, locked in a perpetual state of waiting for something, or someone, it deemed irreplaceable. The level of connection, the intensity of the love energy Tess introduced into my life, set a standard no one else could hope to meet, much less eclipse. Though Tess had vanished from my sight, his essence lingered, an indelible mark etched deep within the recesses of my mind. The mere thought of lifting the veil shrouding our memories in the corners of my subconscious was enough to resurrect the flood of emotions I had worked so hard to contain. It was a testament to our bond, a connection so profound that even the possibility of its revival threatened to undo the fragile equilibrium I had painstakingly achieved. My spirit was low, and the things that once filled me with joy meant nothing anymore. I penned the last poem that would ever flow through my fingers and surrendered to a spiral of darkness. I was a weed amidst your flowers. I gave you strength, you gave me coward. You locked me down, I wanted out. You made me cry, I made you shout. I said to leave, you said you won't. You packed your bags, then I said don't. You touched my hand, I shook it off. You held my gaze, my heart went soft. How could I love and hate you too? I don't regret what we went through. We were in love but unprepared. We were young. I was scared. Life continued, and as fate would have it, I found myself entangled in a loveless, toxic relationship, as if I were punishing myself. I was like a bird in a gilded cage, surrounded by everything I could ever want, yet devoid of love. There was nothing but emptiness, endless tension, fights, and a love language no different than Mortal Kombat. During those excruciating nights, my only escape was to pretend I was elsewhere, with someone else. I languished in a deep, dark depression for years, trapped in that unhealthy state of existence. Perhaps the peaceful night drives in my car, obsessively redecorating the condo. And my borderline shopping addiction kept me sane. The abuse wasn't just psychological. It was verbal, financial, and eventually deadly. I was entangled in a web of control. If I chose to leave, he promised to ensure I would leave with nothing. But all the material possessions in the world couldn't compel me to stay. So I left with just a suitcase and $50 in my pocket, this time prepared to spend the rest of my sad life in solitude. One night I sat in quiet contemplation. I pulled my knees to my chest and swallowed past the growing lump in my throat. Random thoughts of my first year with Tess began to resurface, like fragments of a vivid dream drifting in and out of my consciousness. The memories of our escapades, the way he beamed when he laid his eyes on me, and the way he playfully chased me naked around the apartment like a velociraptor. Those stolen moments of intimacy left my heart racing and my body yearning for more. I could almost feel the warmth of his smile, the soft touch of his hand, and the electricity that surged between us. Several portals opened up in me whenever he entered my being. He was always deserving. It wasn't just love. It was supreme intimacy during those early days. The experience now felt like a harsh detox from cocaine, leaving me shaky, scared, and utterly alone. It was a snowy day in December, once my favorite time of year. Angelo convinced me to get out of the house, promising he'd drag me out if I didn't leave with him willingly. We found ourselves in a coffee shop, chatting and sipping on caramel macchiatos. Angelo, my unapologetically flamboyant gay bestie, was one person who could always make me smile. With a slight smile on my face, I looked up at the figure that had stopped in front of me. There he was. A magnificent mass of male chromosomes presented in the perfect form of human nature. He looked older, more mature, and even more beautiful than the last time I saw him. His intense eyes gazed down at me, and his eyebrows furrowed softly.
Jennifer,
he breathed.